It's me. It's kind of wet out here, and I'm running late and such. But anyway, yeah, there's a couple of videos. Well, not a couple actually. Well, Fred. I'll talk about Fred, conference report guy, who I really do appreciate his existence on YouTube, because since the Modern Mystic went wherever he went, who I might throw in this video too. This might be just one long 3-part video about different subjects. But anyway, Fred, conference report guy. Yeah, I just love that he can produce all these philosophy videos. It's just... But lately, they've been a little draggy. I mean, this Sublime stuff, and then To Be Serious is made, and Laura Layla too, who sometimes does disappoint me because she goes right into that old wacky, whatever, glitter on unicorn philosophy place. Now they're doing poetic atheism. I mean, I just love that people throw those two words together. Like, that makes some kind of fucking sense. It's just, I mean, it's just things you're not supposed to mix. It's like mixing, I don't know, poop and cake mix. I mean, it's not, you don't want to, these aren't ingredients. You don't mix something that's supposed to be logical with art. This is a bad combination. And poetry has very little to do, can have very little to do with any of the discipline that something intellectual or logical should demand. Poetry can be a brilliant form of communication, but let's be honest about what it is. It's a shotgun. 90% of the pellets don't hit the target, that kind of thing. They're just flying all over the damn place, and it's sloppy and it's messy. And so, yeah, it's for, you want to play. It's a playground. It isn't where serious work is done, in my opinion. The work that needs to get done. You're not going to do, M equals MC squared, E equals MC squared kind of stuff with poetry. Just not the place to be. But anyway, back to conference report, because he's kind of affiliating himself with that poetry crap, which pisses me off a little. That group. And he's done it. He's sort of talked about how he, this philosophy thing, he likes to kind of play with it a little bit and go in phantasmagorical directions. And sorry, this is really a rough path when it's wet. And that's his business. I just don't like it. And so that's the way it is. So anyway, he did a response video to Peach, which I thought was really great because he showed a little bit of indignation, which I was really hoping for the first time he saw the video. And he didn't, and that's why basically I made my video, is because Fred basically said, all right, well, whatever. And so I felt like, well, fuck this, you shouldn't get away with this crap. Because I saw that. I mean, to use Fred as part of the argument was just cheap. And I think she didn't use me as part of the argument, but she knew I'd be all over her ass. But anyway, and she is impolite and rude to just assume, that her use is always going to be strictly and perfectly fair, because that argument needs to be made too. That's another place where the nuance of the law is not black and white. The freedom to take is not absolute. And no matter what your intent, and certainly, if your intent is a certain thing, it's explicitly not a legal issue, because it's fucking illegal. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. So Fred, in his argument, made a lot of great arguments, but then he made one that was just, oh, shit, that was like, that was tripping on your own sword. That nobody should be convinced of anything in a 20-minute video. I theoretically think you can convince somebody of something in a 2-minute poem. So as much as I have contempt for poetry, a brilliantly stated poem can say it all, can say everything that needs to be said. And certainly a 5-minute video or a 20-minute video, there are complex subjects, but you can certainly frame and detail what's involved and make an explicit statement at the end that's quite agreeable. Now, I'd certainly argue that Peach's argument was all over the place and that it wasn't focused, and so nobody could draw a conclusion based on her video, in my opinion, that would be sensible, just because she attacked no part of the argument completely and to a point, to the required standard of a authoritatively proof argument. But I think she could maybe make such a video, a 5-minute video even, in defense of the fact of evolution, biological evolution, outlining what we know, the science that exists, and making a very convincing argument where somebody would be taken up to speed on the science in 5 minutes. It can be done, I think. So I thought that was kind of a bogus argument. But the idea, though, that people are going back and forth, oh yeah, that was a good video, oh yeah, that was a good video, it is kind of funny, because I've seen it on my videos. Like, people are going one way, then they can switch back the other way, go back the other way. And just the fact that there have been arguments that are really so intrinsically lame that people will argue that, I mean, I had a guy make that stupid moronic video to me where he's basically arguing it's not complicated. It's not a complicated social issue. Sex is not a complicated social issue. I mean, it's, you know, whether prostitution is legal or not, sex is a complicated social issue. We got a lot of fucking problems working out human relationships in this environment where men are full of desire and women are the object of it. You know, I mean, this is and it's in between the sexes. The desire is not of a similar nature. There is a Venus-Mars phenomenon that does exist. I mean, maybe if women were like homosexual men, I don't know, whatever the argument would be, but you know, if women were after the same things as men were after, or men were after the same things women were after, maybe it wouldn't be a problem. But they're not, and so there is a problem. And traditionally, because of the baby wild card, they have a family wild card, that where all those obligations will fall on the mother in the end, ultimately. Yeah, this is important. You know, because women, you know, they're stepping beyond the weaker sex argument, but they're still stuck. If they're stuck with the liability of carrying a kid, yeah, they got a disadvantage, and they're not going to be able to do that competitive, succeed in the workplace thing as aggressively as an unencumbered male. And these complicate the social issue. There's just no way to get around that complication. You have to somehow figure out a way to deal with it. And then you just got the psychology of it. I mean, think, you know, what happens to people's maturation in a world. I mean, there's two different scenarios. I'm very against the excessive taxation of cigarettes. I think it's bogus, cruel, shitty politics, outrageous politics, actually, unconstitutional action. But the fact is, it must be preventing some people from starting to smoke. I mean, it's not too many 11-year-olds, I don't think, they can figure out where to get $50 a week for a cigarette habit. And certainly in my day, I could find the $3.25. So, yeah, it's a big difference. I could not become a cigarette addict in this world. Not the same way I did in my youth, because I couldn't afford it. And what if, well, whatever, I won't even go into it. But there's a complication, because, yeah, how much, the amount of money, the amount of ruin you're imposing on some young person who's got a nicotine habit. You know, how much of their life are they compromising to maintain that nicotine habit? You know, they could be spending money on college books or something else, and they've got to waste a huge portion of their available income to finance their nicotine addiction. And it's just fucking cruel and disgusting. So anyway, this prohibition is complicated, legalization is complicated. Whichever way you go, there's complications. And those have to be dealt with something more than, oh, you just do that. And then especially when you just point to some stupid model, like there's a model out there that's perfect. Well, there isn't one yet. I mean, again, the Nevada model only exists because there's 4 people who live in Nevada that aren't working for the gambling industry. I mean, get serious. You know, it's all about Las Vegas and the money, and it's nothing about some sort of social liberation issue. It's about giving the tourists something to exploit, something else to buy when they're drunk, and nothing else. You know, it's another sparkly light to seduce the people in and take their money. And so taking that model and trying to apply it in this domestic little blah 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 town of simple family folk, yeah, I just don't think that would work to anyone's advantage at all. But whatever. So I won't re-argue that subject. I'm a little sick of it. But yeah, Peach is a twit. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, just I hate the manipulation arguments. I just can't stand those. This, like, anybody can show the retard image. You know, arguing on the internet is retarded, and show the image of the retard running over the finish line. Yeah, let's all make our videos with buffoon content. That's so fucking intellectual.